It's a Guy Jeans podcast.
Wait for it. The Bart Hall Show at the Long Beach Convention Center, March 29th to April 2nd. Known as the granddaddy of them all outdoor recreation events since 1946 have been based on this historical show. Join us as we celebrate 75 years of assembling more fishing, tackle, boats, marine accessories, quality hunting and fishing lodges, overland displays, and unique outdoor recreation stuff than any other show in California. Kids under 16 free. A full day of family fun, the kids' fish-free trout pond, the ultimate air dogs, the Great American Duck Races, Paul Bunyan's Lumberjack Show, archery, air gun ranges, axe throwing, fly fishing, hundreds of seminars, and so much more. Thanks to our great sponsors, Progressive, Accurate, Okuma, Daiwa, Shimano, Fisherman's Landing, Mammoth Lakes, Convict Lake Resort, Costa, Hobie, Rancho Leonero, and Turner's Outdoorsman. The Bart Hall Show, March 29th through April 2nd at the Long Beach Convention Center. Go to hallshows.com. That's hallshows.com. Hi there, my name is Guy Jeans, and I started this podcast to talk to interesting and motivating people living and manifesting their passions and ambitions into reality. I've always said, if you're passionate and love what you do, you will be successful. They say that you have to spend at least 1,000 hours to master something. Whether it's practicing or doing whatever you're trying to achieve, you need to at least do 1,000 hours or more to become proficient at it. And I'm going to tell you guys a story. You know, I went and watched my ex-guest. I think I was like 20 years old in a little beach town backyard party in a little community called Pierpont down in Ventura, down on the beach. And I had heard that this guitar player was going to be playing in this backyard. And so a bunch of us went down to the beach to this party, and it was a backyard barbecue type party. I don't know, maybe 100 people there. And it was just a lot of fun and everything. And I see this guy, he's about a year younger than me, setting up his guitar and getting ready to play and everything. And when he started playing with his band, all ears were on him, and everybody was just stoked. And it was a really neat thing to see this young kid really tearing it up. And that's my next guest, Guy Martin. And he has gone on to play for 10,000 people at the Staples Center, playing the Star Spangled Banner, touring around, playing with his band, writing songs, starting a recording studio. And we're going to hear all about that and some of the musicians that he's played with, like B.B. King and others. So without further ado, here's Guy Martin. Guy, how you doing?
All right, brother. It's good to see you. Good to actually hear you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I was thinking about, what our band would be called if we had a band.
Our band?
Guy and Guy.
Yeah. The Guys. It'd just be called The Guys.
The Guys. There you go. I like that.
Yeah,
better.
sounds kind of boy bandish.
Right. Have you known anybody else with the name Guy?
There's a couple. No, not real not on a personal level, not really.
Yeah, I know. I've known two other ones. One's in Camarillo.
Oh, okay.
Guy Lockwood, who's a general contractor, and
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and that's about it, man. And then you.
Yeah. But you know what's funny is I don't know if you've ever typed your own name into like Facebook.
Uh-huh.
So social media is the pretty much encyclopedia of people, right?
Yeah.
So, dude, you would be surprised on how many Guy Martins there are in this world. I'm just like, wow. I was blown away.
I was tripping on that too, man. I was looking, doing my research on you, and I was like, is there like a stunt guy that's like Guy Martin or something, or race car driver or something?
He's retired now, but he's a street motorcycle racer from the UK. Yeah. In fact, prior to him coming on like the internet scene, you type in Guy Martin and then my music stuff would pop up. Yeah. And then until he came on the scene, he pretty much stole my search thunder, man. That guy.
How funny, man.
So it is what it is.
Well, we go way back, into, like when we were in high school and stuff, you were playing music with Jude Miller. I think he was playing bass for you, and you were I think you were 16 years old, shredding on the guitar. I remember that, man. And dude, I think that I remember Jude talking about you, and Shane Wright, was he playing with you too? And who else was?
Yeah, so Tom Mobley on drums back then.
Tom Mobley, yeah.
That was the Threads.
The Threads, yes, the Threads.
Yeah, and then Shane Wright actually was singing with us.
That's right. Yeah. I remember that, man. I remember hearing about you guys. The first time that I actually really got to see you perform and play was at a party in Pierpont, and you were playing, I think, with your band, and there was a shitload of people there, and you came out and you were just shredding, and I was just like, yeah, this dude's ripping it. I knew you, but it was just cool to see, somebody so young, playing that guitar so well, and it was just really neat, man, to see you shred.
Right
that's
on.
For sure.
I wonder what that's kind of like. I didn't do a ton of Pierpont parties, but there's one that sticks out. Back in the Charlie's days, remember Charlie's?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's when Albie.
Yes, it was Albie's house.
Okay, so that was the same party then. Yeah, that was kind of like my local. I guess you would call it local discovery, where a lot of the locals from down in that area and the Ventura area kind of got to see me.
Yeah.
Because it was a long time ago. And then I remember Albert saw me at Charlie's or Albie, and then he goes, "Hey man, I got this party, I want you to play." And it kind of snowballed from there. It was pretty cool actually the way it happened.
Yeah, it was really cool. You're shredding that, and there's people standing around just tripping on you.
I have a couple photos in my old photo album of that party.
Yeah, that was good times,
cool.
man. So let's talk about early, because I want to talk about like how you got started playing the guitar. How many hours do you think that you had to like practice before you got like proficient at playing the guitar?
Well, I don't know how many hours it took, to be honest with you, but when I first picked up a guitar, going out, girlfriends, drinking, none of that was part of my schedule. I was like in my room 5 hours a day, every day, like playing along with records.
Okay.
And then that went on for probably 2 to 4 years. I'm gonna say 2 to 3 years straight, 5 hours a day. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
That was just that. I was like that into it.
So were you just listening to the solos of certain records and artists and or just listening to just playing and learning by ear? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, pretty much. It was mostly Stevie Ray.
Yeah.
Like I would just throw on his records and try to emulate everything he was doing because that's what I wanted to sound like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I mean, definitely. We want to talk about some of those shows that you've done. Stevie Ray shows and Jimi Hendrix shows and stuff. I want to definitely talk about that later on. But they say, for somebody to be proficient at anything, 1,000 hours is pretty common. It sounds like you were getting 1,000 hours pretty early on.
Yeah, I've heard that saying actually.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I haven't even calced it out. I don't even know what it would calc out to, but I was pretty devoted when I picked it up. And
when did everything kind of like click on you? Like, dude, I'm kind of shredding right now.
Yeah, that's so funny. I want to say I do remember having a moment, a very similar thought of that, similar to that, and I just can't remember when and how it was.
Like in your bedroom, you're just all of a sudden you're just like you got the whole Stevie Ray Vaughan record down, and you're like, oh, my God.
You know what it was? Here it is. I remember this moment. Do you remember John Francis?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So he was pretty much the
shredder. He was a shredder.
Conduit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back when we were hanging out in high school, he was just Mr. Jazz, Mr. Flamenco, Mr. Rock.
Yep.
And then I told him, I go, dude, I'm gonna buy a guitar. I want you to show me some licks. Anyway.
Yeah.
We and there's a funny story about that too, based on where I live now. But I would be at his house, down in his basement, just jamming. Gannon from Guitar Planet would always be down in there with us, and just it was. So where was I going with that? Remind me where I was going with that story.
You were just talking about like beginning to shred.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I made a recording of me jamming to like a Red House slow blues groove back then, and I played it for John over the phone, and he goes, "That's not you.
Yeah,
that's not you." And I'm like, "That's coming from John." That's when I knew, like, okay,
okay,
yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
So,
that guy I remember, he was a shredder too, man, and that's and he's still good to this day. He's so versatile. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a long time, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were jamming, and you kind of figured that out, and then you kind of started playing with the boys, with the threads, and then you started. What happened? I saw an old video of you like playing the guitar behind your head, even when you were like 16. So how did that go down?
Yeah, because Stevie Ray did it. I'm like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. Whatever.
Right.
We were at a high school. Yeah, we were at a high school dance, and we were playing to like a full packed girls' gymnasium, and I remember that was one of the first times I did that, and the video actually, everyone got super excited. It was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah,
for, being 16.
Ventura high school dances, man. I played one of those, or two or three of those.
Right.
I mean, you probably were there. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you
probably.
Were, but I don't know. It was back in the day. That's for sure, man.
I know, like a lifetime ago.
So you grew up in Ventura, and
born and raised.
Yep. And are you doing music pretty much full time? Are you still doing general contracting, and what are you doing these days?
General. I've been burning the candle from both ends for literally since I was a kid, since I was 17, 18. Construction during the day, music at night.
Yeah.
And on the weekends. And then just because it's like people ask me, well, why didn't you go out and tour and stuff? And there's two parts to that question, two parts to that answer. One is because I felt like I was always tied down with expenses, bills.
Sure.
I had kids a little bit early. So that tied me down, and then the older I got, I'm like, God, do I want to tour? Kind of sounds like a pain in the ass now.
Right? It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know, it's a lot of work, and anyway. So even to this day, I'm still general contracting because that pays the bills.
Sure.
It's why I have the things I have. It's why I have my studio, and I won't rely on music for a sole income. Not at this stage.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. You never know. But
I like it. Yeah.
Not getting any younger.
Are you building houses? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys building houses like crazy right now? Because like on Orlando and all those, are you doing stuff up there from the fire?
Yeah. Yeah. I had my hand in like 5 of those, and then between between some politics and then a lot of people just not wanting to build and selling their lots, I only ended up doing one.
Oh, okay.
But right now is a real busy time. A lot of people are remodeling.
Cool. Awesome, man.
So it's busy.
So let's talk about the scales. You know, like when I'm watching you play the guitar and you're playing like over chords and stuff, is there a certain pattern or certain type of scale? Are you improvising the whole time, or is it all, you know, like go ahead. Sorry.
It's 110% improvisation in here.
Yeah.
Because I honestly never learned music theory. It bored the crap out of me. I know if I ever want to be a major studio musician, then I would have to change that. But even some of the good studio cats, they're just ear players.
Yeah.
But, I do have a good ear, and it's trained ever since I was little. That's all I ever did was learned by ear. Mm-hmm. So when I'm playing a solo, it's all muscle memory of what I already know. At the same time, like, how can I make this different? And then just use my ear and skills to kind of take it somewhere different every time.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it when you're playing like some chords, or you go, okay, I got to play in this key, or are you just playing like, okay, this is what I hear, and I'm going to play this? Is that what I'm hearing? What,
like, you mean like when I'm writing a song, or if I'm playing?
Let's say that you're sitting in, you know, with a group, and which I've seen you do, and and they're like, hey, go ahead, guys, solo, and then you're like, okay, well, we're playing these chords, so I need to solo in this key, or are you just hearing it and just going for it?
No, I'll start with the key that I'm supposed to be in for sure. Uh-huh. And it depends on the progression, but sometimes you can take it to different places that work. And again, because of my lack of knowledge of music theory, there's a term for that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, it's called You're Gifted. You know? Yeah, go ahead.
So, I mean, there's some players that I see that are gifted in the sense of they know exactly where they're going and why. Yeah. It's because they know the theory, they know that note is going to work right there in that particular moment. And I wouldn't say I'm that skilled in that area. I have a good ear, but I hit wrong notes like anybody else, and
sure,
you just don't go there again.
Yeah, it's a passing tone. It goes.
No, it's. I call it jazz.
Yeah, exactly. So you played with some pretty gnarly musicians, man. I've seen that you've opened up for, some pretty incredible cats.
Yeah.
And I think did you open up for B.B. King?
I did.
Yeah. Yep. So what was that like?
Oh, that was amazing. That was such a magical night. I remember getting a call from Ronnie at the theater. She goes, I got something for you. And I go, what? She goes, B.B. King. I'm just like, okay.
No way.
Yeah. And she goes, you were my first call. And that night was just to be able to hang out. His whole band is like his family.
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
just to talk to those guys up in the green rooms upstairs,
right,
was so freaking cool, man. It was. Hey, Wyatt. No barking, bud.
Do you think
sorry about that?
Do you think that B.B. King is kind of like you, where he's just playing by ear and feel, and like similar to what you're doing?
I haven't studied that deep into B.B. King enough to know that that's what he does, but I get the feeling that he's very much like that.
Yeah. When
I hear him play.
For sure.
And watch him,
Yeah. Who else have you opened up for?
Jeff Healey was a really, really cool experience.
Nice.
Yeah, that was very, very interesting. just because of his stage setup, and I've never seen anything like that. And he was just ripped, man. For being blind and playing on his lap and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Little Feat / Kenney Wayne Shepherd. I've opened for him 3 times.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And who else?
Did Kenney Wayne Shepherd see you play at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, him and I actually, kind of became friends just from always running into each other at those spots. And
yeah,
it was pretty cool. I got to, he flew, in fact, I have a Kenney Wayne story. I got to know his manager. Okay. And his manager flew a friend of mine. Kenny flew his manager, me, and another friend to Vegas, to the House of Blues out there, to watch their gig. And at the time, Kenny's band was Chris Layton on drums and Tommy Shannon on bass.
Wow!
And that's Stevie Ray's rhythm section. So we're sitting there in the House of Blues prior to the show, eating dinner, having cocktails. And in walks Stevie's rhythm section, and I'm just like,
"Oh, were you flipping out?"
That was just a heavenly moment for me right there. And they sat down at the table, and we were just chilling. I was just like, "Oh my God," because Stevie was just such a big influence in my playing, and yeah, it was.
That's crazy, man. Going from playing his records in the bedroom for 5 hours a day, and then being flown out to Vegas later on in life and meeting those guys. I mean, what?
I know.
Is that crazy? That's crazy.
It's really, really cool. It is. It is crazy.
It is, man.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason.
I know. It's pretty cool.
For sure.
And then let's see, Dave Mason. Dave Mason was another cool experience for me, because I ended up working on his house.
Oh, really?
Doing construction in Ojai. And then I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was. And so we just started doing small talk about guitars, because he had guitars hanging up all his house and stuff. And I picked one up and started playing, and then he saw that I kind of knew what I was doing. And then we just became friends from there, all the way to the point where he invited me on stage with him on 2 occasions.
Wow.
And that was insane. That was his bass player was Gerald Johnson, who was Steve Miller's bass player for many years.
Wow.
Super cool cat. And we were playing this gig. The room was probably 1,000 people in the audience. And we did this slow blues song. And then at the end of the song, I got a standing ovation from the room.
Nice.
That was kind of in the middle of his set. And that just really, it blew my mind. I didn't know how to, honestly, I was like, what the heck? And I don't know how happy Dave was about that, but I was getting stopped in the streets of Ventura months and months after that show by people that saw that night that were there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So are you like sitting in on sitting in with other bands playing guitar, or doing any of that kind of stuff every once in a while? Yeah,
like currently I'm basically Raging Arb's main guitar player currly.
Oh, are you? Oh, right on. Yeah, I remember seeing you. Yeah, you're always jamming with those guys, huh?
So there's that setup, and then I do a lot of sitting in, because blues shows, it's just, they're so loose. You just go up there and sit in, play some notes, and walk off, and you're done. It's always fun.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of collaboration and sit-ins with different friends and different bands. And that also gets carried into the studio as well.
Have you done any original records?
Two, but man, that's a bittersweet subject for me because I've always been able to really record my own stuff.
Yeah.
Yet I don't have the stuff to show for it. It's so screwed up. In '97, I did I remember TK was the engineer on this at Goldmine, but I did a CD there.
I remember that.
And then live at Cafe Voltaire back in the day. We did a live thing there, and man, sad to say that's the only thing I've ever released, and I'm currently chomping at the bit, working with my current guys to actually do a record.
Good,
because it's long overdue.
It is, man, and
I know.
Have you got like the original songs to do it? Like, you're all ready to go. Basically, just got to record them.
Nope, gotta finish them. Gotta finish writing them.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, my whole weak spot's always been lyrical. because I'm not the greatest singer. Although people tell me that I'm good and fine, and I'm like, well, I don't like the way I sound. So,
I think that's pretty typical, man. I've been listening to your music the last couple days, and your voice is great, man. Don't even worry about that.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it sounds good, man. It sounds good with the music you're doing. It's cool.
I appreciate it, and so that's always been the kind of my crutch, and if I had a voice like Johnny Lang, I probably would be doing different things today.
I think your voice is killer, and I think you need to. I think you need to do the music for your fans. They would eat it. They would eat it up, man. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, to motivate you. Do it for them. Because those
you're
people,
right.
Everybody would be super stoked to get something of your creation for sure.
Yeah, well, it's coming sooner than later. So,
well, let's talk about produced shows that you've done, like massive produced shows. I've seen videos. I've seen like these big shows with chicks singing in the background. Let's talk about that. How did you do that, and how long did that take to rehearse for something like that?
Yeah, that was so that show in particular is the Jimi Hendrix thing we did. I think it was 2012 or 14. I can't remember.
Was that at the Ventura Theater? Ventura Theater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And so that one was, dude, talk about like multiple hats.
Exactly.
On that show,
exactly.
On that show, everything was my creation.
Yeah.
Like nothing, like other than the participation of the band and the girls rehearsing and coming up with choreography for the show.
Yep.
Everything was just on my shoulders, and which I was gladly taking on because I just wanted to do it. So we rehearsed for about 4 months.
Yeah.
Twice a week for 4 months.
Uh-huh.
And we rehearsed 2 hours of Jimi Hendrix, and then when it came to showtime, I hired 3 video cameras, and then after once everything was done, I pretty much did a full production DVD of the whole night.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because it's got a lot of B-roll footage from rehearsals and stuff like that. And that was really cool, man.
Can people still get that? Is it somewhere?
Yeah, and what's funny is I don't think it's anywhere. Maybe on my website, I think, but my website's not even updated. It's I really need to start kind of getting that out because I still have like I think 3 boxes of DVDs in my garage. that show.
Yeah.
And shirts to match. In fact, I was going to possibly come up with a current edition of that show and offer that DVD and a shirt as part of the package to buy a ticket.
Oh, that's cool.
But that'll be planned later.
So did you do that show just one night, or did you do it somewhere else, or just at the theater?
So we went to the Ventura Theater, then to the Canyon Club, did it there, and then we took it to a smaller venue at Yoli's when Jan and Jerry McWhorter were doing the Hi-Hat Entertainment shows there. We did the night there, and that was really cool. So there's just 3 times really.
Yeah.
And then as of more recent, I kind of did a Stevie Ray Vaughan show in downtown Ventura, and that was fun because I actually did an SRV show a long time ago at the theater, even before the Jimmy show. But today's version is much better just because I'm a better performer, a better player.
Yeah.
But that was fun. That was kind of recent. That was within the last few months, I think.
Oh, really?
The show. Yeah.
People have no idea what it takes to produce a show like that, huh? Isn't that nuts?
They usually don't.
They just see the final product, They don't have any idea what it takes for the rehearsals, and you said choreography, lighting, and the organization of the band, and I mean it's until that final curtain call, man, and you're done, and you walk off the stage. It's like a big relief, huh?
Heck yeah!
It's hard to explain, huh?
That Jimmy show, that was a big endeavor, and I just trip out the fact that I was able to even pull that off. I was pretty much by myself. I did all the artwork for the posters. I did all the editing and stuff, post editing for the DVD. Obviously, was in charge of the rehearsals.
Yep.
And just it was gnarly.
What's the feeling like playing in front of a big audience like that? Because a lot of people don't know what that feels like. And can you explain what that feels like to be playing in front of an audience, that big, 12 to 1,500 people there, and they're all focusing on you? What's that like?
I have a story that's related to that, but I'll answer that first.
Okay.
I would say it's just surreal and magical. And I'm sure you played in front of big crowds. It's the energy. I can't explain it. The energy that's just back and forth. It really makes me a better player to play with that kind of energy in the house, just to know that everyone's focused on your craft that you've worked so hard at, and they're enjoying it is such a gratifying feeling.
That's cool. Well, absolutely.
Yeah,
I totally get it.
Right.
Man.
And then so that story I was talking about, I got a friend that hooked me up with playing the national anthem, Star Spangled Banner, at a Miami Heat and Clippers game.
No way.
And this is at Staples Center.
Oh.
And so this is when Shaq was on the Heat. So like kind of newly on the Heat, he left LA to go to Miami. So because of that reason, the Staples Center was full. It was, I don't know what their capacity is. I think it's 21,000, something like that.
Wow.
Dude, talk about nerves and focus.
Oh my God.
They wheel me out to center court. All the lights go out except for right there in the center on you. And then you're basically relying on your skills to not botch up the national anthem in front of 20,000 people.
That's gnarly.
Dude, I know. And I have pictures of that night on my Facebook. And I've been trying to not have been, but I tried to get the video from Fox because Fox was airing it. They didn't air the my part on TV because it wasn't a playoff game or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But they were there filming it, and to this day, I would still love to have that footage. So I don't know if it's possible to get.
So what was that like? I mean, when people just
insane.
like,
yeah, you get to the part of the anthem where people are always hollering. So I chose to do like some tasty licks.
Uh-huh.
My anthem wasn't Jimi Hendrix-ish. There was maybe 2.5 seconds of Jimi Hendrix style in there, but the rest was real sultry, clean,
nice.
And just bluesy. And kind of, I went into this minor chord progression that sounded like the end from the Doors. And then,
awesome,
dude. Yeah, it was a cool, unique version. But what was interesting is on the way back, because I had to take an elevator to the street level to get back to street level.
uh-huh.
I was in the elevator with like 7 of the Clippers cheerleaders, and they're like, did you just play the guitar tonight? I'm like, yeah, that was me.
That was me.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow. So what was that like? Like, walking off. Did you feel high? Was it kind of like
yeah?
I mean, like
mm-hmm.
hard to come down from that, I bet, and just kind of like just thinking about it.
Yeah. The cool part was my girlfriend at the time was in the seat where I was going to be sitting too. So going back to my seat, I got all these props from the crowd, and it was really, really, it was a cool experience.
Wow, man. I did not
never
know that. Yeah, I did not know that. That's really cool. And you just got that, you got that through somebody that you knew, and they just said, hey, come.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He, a friend of mine was good. He had Clipper season tickets, and he knew the operations manager that handled that kind of stuff. So, it's all who you know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Right.
Yeah. Right.
Talk about your Black Couch studio.
Yeah. Well, to sum it all up, looking back at my childhood and being a kid, all the way up into my high school years of playing music, I was always into recording myself playing. Even I would take my dad's old school tape recorders, the one with the 5 buttons across the front.
Yeah.
And I would use 2 of them to like overdub.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I was like 8, 9 years old.
Uh-huh.
And that really didn't dawn on me until like about 5 years ago when I was getting into recording and production more. I'm like, wow, like I've been doing this since I was a kid, and that's no wonder I'm gravitated towards production. Anyway, so I slowly started building up the necessary gear to have high quality recordings and production efforts.
Yeah.
And then when I bought my home 3 years ago, it was like the perfect house because the lower level, it's not a basement, it's just kind of a downstairs.
Uh-huh.
I converted the whole downstairs into a recording studio.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And are you?
Yeah, and it's been. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I know. I was just saying, it's just been a crazy, wonderful ride since I bought here and converted the studio. Because I used to, when I rented, prior to 3 years ago, it was just a 1-bedroom thing. That's kind of where it all started.
Uh-huh.
I had a lot of my gear in just 1 bedroom and bring friends over and record and stuff like that. But having a real setup with a live room and isolation booths and a control room, that's just a game changer.
Oh, that's awesome. You guys were doing, like, from what I was looking at, like some kind of contest, and then like,
oh yeah,
what was that all about?
Well, we didn't want to bill it or brand it as a contest because basically we pooled up 16 musicians, 8 guitar players, 4 bass players, 4 drummers, within those musicians, somebody was always a singer. So it's not like we had to grab a specific singer. So we randomly assembled 4 different bands at the drawing names out of a hat. And once we had these 4 bands assembled, then we would throw a bunch of classic rock tunes into a hat, draw one of those. And so that song was the song that those 4 bands, they each had 3 hours to record their own version of it in my studio. Not on the same day. They were all separate sessions. So 4 different session days, but talk about a fun process. So you have these musicians that sometimes don't know each other, and sometimes, most of the time, have never played together before. Come together in the studio and woodshed this cover song that they usually are familiar with, and woodshed their own version, and then we record it. And dude, it's so much fun.
Some cool versions, huh?
Yeah, we've done 2 series. We're currently working on starting up a 3rd series, volume 3. Yeah, and all those versions are on my Black Couch YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. YouTube channel. Awesome, man. So what are you doing as far as like more recordings with other bands? Are you producing other bands? Anything like that?
Yeah, there's one kind of up and coming kid, Jaden Secor. He's recorded quite a few times. He's been part of that Black Couch series as well. But his original stuff, he's been in there multiple times, and he's actually working on coming back for a full length album. So he's kind of like the most recent guy. There's been a few others that have come in there and done some smaller projects. Nothing too crazy, nothing too involved. What had happened is, as soon as I finished the studio, COVID hit. So then it's like, well, no one's really getting together. So there was 2 years of that. So, but what's interesting is I'm getting a lot of calls about the studio, which is what I want. I want to be able to choose who I have come in there. And what's also very cool is as of recent not this year, but tail end of last year, there have been 2 film stock companies that call me that want to shoot in there because it looks so cool.
Right.
And they literally come and pay me this fee to come shoot video and photos in there of their actors or artists or whatever. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of
that's way cool.
Yeah, I know. Kind of, makes it even more worth it.
Awesome. Well, what shows do you have coming up, if any, so we can come see you?
March 31st. That's the thing, is I'm not gigging a ton because we're focusing on recording right now.
Yeah.
But March 31st, I'm downtown at a place called The Twist, downtown Ventura.
Okay. And
then I'm working on a Guy Martin and Friends show at that same venue, probably sometime in May or June.
What's that venue like? I've never seen it.
That's a really cool venue. It used to be called Grapes and Hops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, right. And so there's new owners. Actually, I mean, how do I explain this? When it was Grapes and Hops, there were some weird business vibes going on.
Oh, okay.
Some new owners took over, but even since then, they sold it, and now there's new owners. A couple partners, Chris and Michelle, and they are just so awesome, man. They're what club owners should be like, as far as hospitality and
nice.
Anyway, they're making the place good as it was when Tammy owned it, when it was Grapes and Hops. So It's a good room. It's got good sound. Chris is very serious about having it sound as good as he can in there. He's doing everything he needs to do, taking all the steps from being on stage all the way to out into his patio to make sure it sounds good. And, got to respect that.
Do they do all kinds of music there?
They do, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. In fact, you would probably do well there.
Yeah.
You probably would.
Little ska band in there. Tick, tick.
Yeah. You probably would, man. It's a good room.
Okay, well, check it out, man. Awesome. Well, usually at the end of the podcast, I usually ask people like, what they've been listening to as far as music, that sort of thing, whatever it is. I'm always learning about new bands and artists, from that question
right.
too, so what have you been listening to?
Oh man.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is I don't make a point to listen to a ton of music. It's so weird. It's but when I do listen to music, it's usually nothing brand new.
Yeah.
God.
All your old records, you listen to those still, the Stevie Ray Vaughan and the Hendrix.
I mean, it's what's funny is I don't listen to much SRV unless I'm trying to study or rehearse for like an SRV show or something.
Yeah.
I won't sit and I literally will not sit and listen to only him.
Yeah.
Because I've burnt that candle out a long time ago.
I know every note.
I know. It's like that's a tough question for me, to be honest. Like for such a simple question, it's a hard one for me. I will listen to pretty much anything except for rap. I'm not really into rap. I'm not into hip hop. I'll do some Snoop Dogg and Eminem, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Man, other than that, I'll throw in everything from the Police to the Chili Peppers to Jimi Hendrix to Pink Floyd to the Who. I mean, new obscure blues artists that are up and coming.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah, stuff like that. Right.
Well,
sorry to be so vague on that one.
Guy, it's so good to catch up with you, man.
You as well, Guy.
Yeah.
My friend Guy.
My friend Guy. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks,
It's been
man.
a long time.
So everybody go out and see Guy play March 31st, downtown Ventura at the club, The Twist. And that's probably, showtime is probably 8 or so, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there,
8 o'clock.
But go check it out. And Guy, thanks again, man, for being on my podcast. I'm super stoked. Much respect to you. You're a shredder. Keep singing, man.
Yeah, and the feelings are mutual, man. The feelings are mutual, and I appreciate you asking me to be on.
Yeah, bud. All right, well, we'll talk soon.
Okay, brother.
All right, man. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
It's a Guy Jeans podcast.